right, you're live. Hey, everybody. My name's Savannah, Mindset and Manifestation Coach. I'm here with my really good friend, Chelsea, who does a lot of things. She's a hypnotherapist, a Reiki master,
Practitioner. I'm working on my master's.
Okay, all right. And a life coach as well, like I am. You want to introduce yourself, Chelsea?
I'm Chelsea. I am a certified hypnotherapist. I'm working on my clinical hypnotherapist certification. I'm still in school for that, but I'll probably be in school forever just because I love the subject. I am a certified hypnotherapist. I'm working on my echo on yours certification. I'm still in school for that, but I'll probably be in school forever just because I love the subject. I am a certified hypnotherapist.
Whoa.
I'm working on my echo on yours.
Yeah, I'm going to loop or something. I don't know.
I'll probably be in school forever just because I love the subject. Voice and all, but
Oh, that's the good thing about live broadcast. You get some entertainment as well. Lord.
are we gonna close that out and restart?
No, we're just gonna keep going from here.
Welcome to Google Hangouts on air.
and live broadcasting. You know, you get what you get. That's okay. I like adds character and stuff. Okay, so you were saying that you do all these awesome things and you love to learn. You're a learnaholic like I am, and will always be learning and doing more things. And school should never end.
Always.
Okay, so you work a lot with the mind and particularly the subconscious mind, right?
Yes. A lot of what we study is the 10% of your brain is your conscious brain, your conscious mind. 90% of your functioning is subconscious, which is mind-blowing that we haven't studied more into this, being that so much of our processing is subconscious, meaning we don't have to think about it. We don't put any conscious thought into what our subconscious is doing. That's where, obviously your breathing, your bodily functions. It's also where you store memories, you store a lot of your habits. That's where things like addictions come in. A lot of, OCD tendencies or depression, where your thoughts are, things like that are stored in the subconscious, all those patterns of the mind. That's where a lot of people should be working to fix problems, because that's where they are stored. That's why a lot of things are hard to fix, because people, doctors, therapists, all work on the conscious part of the mind where, things are a lot harder to change from that aspect, which is why holistic health can be so beneficial, because we work with the subconscious mind and reprocessing and reprogramming. That's a strong word and it scares a lot of people, but basically getting to the root of an issue and pulling it out that way, or fixing it, or changing it from the root of the problem and not just the top of the iceberg, basically. So, yeah, subconscious mind is where a lot of things come from.
Okay, so you're saying working with the subconscious mind is like getting to the root of the cause instead of just trying to cover up the cause. Like I know you have a lot of history with therapists and whatnot, and how you don't agree with how they've been taught, because we're not saying that they don't know what they're doing, but a lot of this stuff needs to be continuously updated and renovated, re-looked at, and everything. And they're just victims of how they've been taught, which is, I don't like formal school because it's very one way, one size fits all type of thing. And I would rather learn from mentors and self-study and stuff like that. That way you're formulating your own opinions towards things, and as well as like how to do things and what works best for you and your clients. right?
Yeah,
Um, huh? Go ahead.
yeah, that's right.
All right. Um, and therapists, they've been taught that this is the way you do this, and there is no other way to do this. So they're just covering up the problem instead of like fully addressing what's causing the problem and how we can fix that.
Yes, and here's the thing. Therapists aren't wrong in what they do. Neither are psychiatrists or doctors. There's something that works for everybody, but the problem is it's at the root. Doctors and therapists, psychiatrists, all alike are taught the same way. They're taught exactly what they need to do with patients. They're not taught to have an open mind, that not everybody works the same, and a medicine is not a cure. They're in the business to create patients, meaning you'll be coming back to them all the time. They're in the
Money.
business of money. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because some people really need the help, and that's completely okay for whoever it works for. But the difference is life coaches, hypnotherapists, anybody in holistic health is taught to, we'll spend a little bit of time figuring out the problem. But our goal is to get from the problem to a new stance, a new solution, a new place. We don't want to stay in that place very long, because it's usually pretty painful. Whatever the problem is, whether it be depression, physical pain, something of the sorts, it doesn't matter what it is, an addiction, anything like that. You can go to the root and, play with it all day. And that's what therapists do. They'll talk about it, usually give you some kind of medication to cover up the problem, the emotions. The emotions are the basis telling you this needs to be helped. You need to do something about it. You can't do anything if you ignore the emotions, and that's why depression is just a vicious cycle for most people, because a medication only covers up the emotions. You're not dealing with the problem. I struggled with depression most of my life, and I've gone to so many therapists, and they always did the same thing. They made me talk about what my problem was. They never gave me a solution. They never helped me get out of my thought patterns that I didn't know any different. I didn't know any better. How do you know what to do? You need tools. You need guidance. And medicine doesn't do that all the time. Now, I'm not saying it's bad for you if it helps in the meantime, but get help. Find a way. There's so many different, life coaches are really good at that. They're taught how to work with the mind instead of just the physical body, which is where there's so much benefit. And again, the subconscious mind, it works wonders when you really understand how the mind body connection works, and one filters into another. Working with the mind will always filter down towards the body and the physical manifestations that come from it. If you don't take care of your mind and mental health, you have nothing, because your body functions in according to how you take care of your mind. Negative thoughts, you can feel them. When you get really angry and it hurts in your stomach, you can feel it tightening up. Your chest gets tight. You can just feel it in your body. That's the mind body connection. That's your body having a physical response to an emotion. And
Yes.
that's where people have forgotten to look at the problem. The emotion is everything, and it tells you exactly what you need to know going on with your body.
Perfect. Yeah. Because I mean, people who don't know any better, they listen to this mind body connection talk, and how we tell them that mindset is everything, and they, since they don't understand it, and it doesn't seem, or it doesn't sound like sciencey or whatever, um it sounds more woo woo ish. So people kind of like stray away from it, and they're, because it's not the way they're taught. But your emotions set off chemical reactions and hormones in your body, which, is physical. And those hormones and chemicals reactions, interact with you and cause all sorts of negative manifestations. It can cause, high blood pressure, cancer, you know,
Stress
yeah,
is a big part of everyday life for most people.
yeah,
And that filters down to all kinds of illnesses. Science is backing this. They're getting behind it. They're showing that, hey, people, stress is not healthy for your body. It does
mm-mm.
trigger, your cells, your nerves, your muscles, everything. chemically reacts to this stress or pain or anything of the likes, and it filters down. Yes, it's definitely noticeable, but science is behind it. They're slowly getting behind it. It's taking time. It's a lot harder to see the physical and the mental aspect of it working together, but MRIs are showing, brain scans are starting to show these chemical reactions that happen from these responses of emotion. So yeah, it's definitely becoming more and more noticed in the
Yeah,
science world.
and that's great. Um, I would love for it to be common knowledge because it would just help so many people. And we'll get there. It just takes time.
Well, people have to know where to go.
Yeah,
You
that's
know, you do. Where do you even start? That's a big subject, and there's so many options out there. And with each of my patients or with my clients, I use different tools for each one of them because everybody's different.
oh yeah,
Some
yeah.
people, hypnosis works great because then it goes straight to the subconscious mind and the processing. Sometimes Reiki works better for working with the physical pain and the physical body. Sometimes life coaching helps people to get new perspectives and understand a different side of a problem they weren't able to look at. So, it just depends on what people need. And that's why, they're scared to call or they're scared to ask, because where do you even start with a problem you've had all your life or something you really don't know how to explain because people might not understand it. That's where, we understand that things are not always in somebody's control. You don't feel in control when you feel like your body doesn't belong to you, when it does stuff you don't want it to, whether it be pain, a phobia, things like that. So it's just learning the mental processes and working with your brain and your mind to be able to fix or, just tweak some of the way you look at things. It's a completely different world when you learn to take control back of your
Oh yeah.
body and your mind.
And people, they don't know where to look because they, like you said, they've had these problems their whole life. So they've become accustomed to them. They accept them as normal, and so they may not even be looking for a solution because for most people, the only solutions that they know of are, psychiatrist or therapy, and most people can't afford that. And if you start going, most of the time you don't stop going. And whereas, I like to try to coach myself right out of a job. I want people to not need me. And
Yeah. Well, that's what we're taught. We want you to be self-sufficient. We're not in the job to make patients. That's why we call them clients, because we want you to be able to work on your own eventually. We don't want you to necessarily need our help, but if you need us, call us. We'd be happy to talk to you. And that's why, I don't want someone to be dependent on me forever because I just don't have enough time to work with thousands of clients every day who are so dependent
right.
on me. And that's why doctors are overwhelmed because
Yes.
they have too much stuff going on. They don't have enough time for as many patients as they have. And that's why we're taught differently. We don't need, people can heal themselves. People can figure ways out of depression, pain. My pain management clients that I've worked with have seen tremendous results, and it's not because I say, hey, here's a cure. It's because, hey, let's work on this step by step. Let's take the next logical step. Let's get it under control. And they're surprised at how amazing it trickles into everything else. It makes them feel better. They begin to have hope that there is a chance when doctors have told them there's absolutely no way that you're ever going to get out of this. It's just normal for people who have fibromyalgia, immune deficiencies, arthritis. But that's not what I've seen. The clients I've worked with have seen a complete turnaround from what doctors have told them. And that just creates hope. And hope is everything. That gives them a chance to think, hey, maybe my life's not over. I can do normal daily things without hurting so bad that I'm down for a week. So, it really is giving it a try. There are other options. And it really does open up a new world. The things you didn't know were possible.
Yeah, your mindset is absolutely everything. And doctors, they don't mean to, but they tend to scare you a little bit. You go in there and they're like, well, you've got life threatening cancer. Which I'm not trying to say that stuff's not legit or anything like that. But I have read a lot of case studies where um people go in there and they're told that they only have 3 months to live, and then they quit their job and travel those last 3 months and just, live life completely free and like they always should have in the first place. And then, here we are 10 years later and they're still alive. And I think it's because, they they eliminated the stress in their life and they started making themselves happy and just living life to the fullest, and um, maybe even accepted the fact that, or not accepted the fact that they had 3 months to live. But I don't know. I feel like we're kind of getting more into the doctors versus life coaches.
Well, and that's not what we're trying to do,
I
because
know, but it feels to me like it sounds like that's what we're doing. And we're
the
not
whole
knocking doctors.
no, and the whole point is, when that happens, it is because they choose to live. They finally do what they came here for. You're not here to work all your life and be miserable. When people have that happen, they live and they're happy. And it's like they've never been that happy in their life. Your body responds to that reaction. The chemicals that you're giving off when you go live life, when you do something you enjoy, your stress is the stress will literally kill your body. You can't handle it. Your body is not made for that. It's an old response, and it's very beneficial sometimes, but people spend all their day in stress, and that's just when you live it up like that, it's completely different. Your whole body reacts differently, and your body can heal itself from that alone. Just being able to do something for yourself, to have fun, you feel lighthearted. You can feel the difference between happiness and anger. Your body feels 100 pounds lighter. You're able to walk easier. You can breathe better. Yeah, it's a completely different world when you learn how to control your emotions, or just feel more in charge of them instead of letting them control you. You don't have to respond to them. You can learn to be in control of them.
So, okay, so we were talking, mindset is everything. And then 90% of your mindset and everything that encases you is all subconscious. Only 10% of it is the conscious, what you notice and what you can control. Which, I mean, you can control your subconscious to an extent, right?
You just have to be aware of it. It's as easy as just understanding that it's there for a purpose. And, again, with people with depression, it's just being able to get out of those thought patterns. People just don't know how. Doctors don't teach you that. Therapists don't teach you that. It's just because they don't know.
They weren't taught, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know
And,
what you don't know.
huh? Yeah, exactly. And there are schools like where I go that teach just that. They teach you how to work with these thought processes. And understanding that the subconscious mind is such a huge part, teaching clients how to take control of it is so much easier, and it's not nearly as difficult as they think it is. And it's a lot of fun. I've had so much fun. And Savannah, I've worked with you with hypnosis. It's so much fun getting to work and explore yourself. Yeah, learning who you are. It's not as difficult or scary as people think it is. It's a ton of fun. I've never had anybody that hasn't had fun doing it and had results where they just call me and they can't believe what has happened, where they are even a day later. It's empowering. And it's so much fun. People really should be more open to it, because it's not as it's there's a lot of preconceived notions about what we do.
Yeah.
Hypnotherapy and life coaching. It's just taking a chance. A lot of people who come to me have done everything else. They've got nothing to lose. They don't want anybody to know they're there. Just
Yeah.
because they don't know for themselves whether or not they're even sure about it. And you don't have to believe in it to see the results. And that's what's so much fun, is because then they go and then they call me the next day and it's like, what did you do? I'm like, nothing. I showed you how to be yourself and to learn about yourself, exploring who you are. And that sounds so simple, and it really is simple. You just have to figure it out. And that's what we're here for, is to help figure it out. It's life changing. It really is. The subconscious mind is such a huge portion of what we do. And it's worth exploring. You were given a mind to think with. It's time to start using it and
Yeah.
understand what it's there for, and taking control of your life.
Yeah. You guys, I get so excited when Chelsea calls me and she's like, "Hey, I've got an idea. Let me try this on you." Like, please, you want me to come there? You come in here.
And
I
you
get
always
really
learn
fun.
something new.
Do it.
You always learn something new about yourself too.
Always, always. It's so much fun, and like we'll be clearing blocks I didn't even know I had.
And
She'll
I,
leave.
huh?
Good. You'll leave, and I'll feel like a huge weight lifted up off of me that I didn't even know I was carrying around to begin with.
Well, and that's the thing. It's much easier with children because they're not worried about what's going to happen. They don't have any notions of what to expect from this.
Just experiencing.
And they have a good imagination, which I'm not saying grown-ups don't. I'm just saying we lose a lot of that as we learn to be, hammered into a circle into a square peg, or you know what I'm saying. The kids don't have that, and they have fun with it. And we do confidence building exercises. Bedwetting, things like that are so easy to work with in kids because they're not worried about it. It's only their parents who are stressing about it. It's the same
Yeah.
thing. People come in stressed about it and they leave like a weight's been lifted off their shoulders. Obviously, I'm not talking about grown-ups bedwetting, but you know.
Who knows? Who knows? They would never tell us.
Well, I'm not don't tell anybody even if they did. So I'm not allowed to do that. So, but see, a lot of things, people who are nervous, I'll say, okay, let's start with your dreams. If people remember their dreams, we start there. We find a dominant emotion. You work through it. You find a place in your waking life and this is easy for people who are listening to do. Write it down. Write down your dream. What was the emotion behind it? And where in your waking life do you have a similar emotion? This is usually your dominant point in your waking life because your dreams are just showing you. Again, that's a huge part of the subconscious mind, and it speaks in metaphors. So if you dream of a house represents you, your whole body. The first floor represents your physical body. The higher levels, your subconscious, spirit, soul. Basements represent the lower part of you that it's kind of like behind closed doors in your own mind that a lot of people don't want to deal with. So usually basements can be kind of scary, but houses represent you. If it's got a strong foundation, that means you have a strong foundation, whether that be self-confidence, trust. If it's in shambles, it kind of means you might have a little bit of mental work to do. You don't have a lot of self-confidence. You feel like it's caving in on you, that kind of thing. Dreams are amazing, and I do a lot of dream work with clients too because this is less scary to work with, and you end up learning stuff about yourself. So, it's all a matter of what somebody needs or how to go about working with them because there's so many different ways to do it. And it really doesn't matter how you go about it. You'll end up finding the same thing.
So, how are some ways that we can identify things that might be holding us back in thriving in life?
Well, let's see. Is there like a specific subject that you mean? Or
Um,
just in.
like we have, mental blocks, beliefs in our subconscious, or even, they may branch into our conscious thoughts that might be holding us back. Like um, beliefs like this is the way it has to be. This is, nothing better will ever come my way because this is how it's always been, accepting things as normal. How do we address those?
Absolutely. Okay, so a belief is only a thought you keep thinking.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
builds itself and it gets momentum going. So the more you say it to yourself, the more you believe it. That's why people struggle with self-confidence because the more you say you don't like something about yourself, the stronger that gets. Emotion, you can feel it. And all you have to do is kind of play around. Think about something that you might struggle with. If you automatically start feeling negative about it, there you go. That's something you need to work on because you have a belief about something going on there. I had a client one time say, and he said, something will be going right. I'll win something, and then it's like a gremlin will come up and just something bad happens. Why does this happen to me? And I'm like, okay, well, you can't give it a name. Whatever. whatever it is, you're giving so much power to it by calling it a gremlin or a troll. You're just giving more power to it, and giving it an excuse for whenever something happens to give your full attention to it. You can't give things so much power, and when you start giving it names or figures or things like that, it makes it really difficult to get rid of it. Just you have to spend more time. If you win something or if you do something really good, embrace it and think about it and stay in that spot as long as you can. But as far as like beliefs go, it depends on what you believe. Obviously a belief is only a thought, so you just have to change your thoughts around it. But you can't just go from there to a new belief, because conflicting beliefs, the stronger one is going to win.
Mhm.
Obviously, it happens every time. So if you have a strong belief about something, it's really hard to get rid of it. There are many different ways to go about it. Hypnosis is what I do with a lot of people who struggle with beliefs. We try to find something. If it's not a truth that serves them, or if it's a belief that holds them back, we try to slowly pick it apart. Find ways that it doesn't work for you, and then find new truths that do, and just create those new beliefs around it. So eventually it's not strong anymore. It has no power. It won't hold any power over you. And once you build up those other truths, slowly you won't even be worried about the other one, and it will eventually not even be there. It takes time, and people are a little worried because, oh, well, a belief must be true. I've heard it and it's true. Well, people create their reality every day.
Yep.
That's the great thing about where we are. We have so much free will that you can choose bondage. And most people do. They hold back on limiting beliefs. That just doesn't serve people anymore. It doesn't work. It only, it worked for a little while, but you can't control other people, so you have to let beliefs go that you can control everything around you, and work on yourself first, because as you build your beliefs around yourself and trust you, everything else will fall into place. All the other beliefs will kind of wash away that don't serve you, because you'll know inside, no matter what, you are your belief. You believe about yourself, and you'll know when truth happens. When you hear something, if it sounds kind of off, then it doesn't work for you. You'll know it. You're not going to be influenced by other people if you work on yourself first.
Yes.
Trust in yourself and believe in yourself, then you don't have to worry about falling victim to something else going on around you that you weren't sure if you trusted or if you believed or not. You don't have to worry about that. So it really is a matter of working on yourself first.
Yeah, and that's like trusting your intuition.
Oh yeah, definitely. And
Yeah,
and you hear the call of that through your subconscious mind, trusting what you get. But again, that self-confidence, you have to trust yourself.
that's true. That's true. Um, it always comes back to loving yourself. Always. Like
Yeah.
everything comes back to it.
And it's so difficult for so many people. I struggled with that, obviously, because of depression. I struggled with that because of self-worth.
Yeah.
How do you do anything different? And I tried to look into alternative health for so many years, but there people weren't putting tools out there. They weren't, okay, this is how you do it. This is what you need to do. It self-worth, and you just have to know that there are tools out there. Coaches know what to do to help you love yourself. And a lot of things that I do for people, you can't look at something you hate and love it. If you look at your body and you hate the way you look, you can't in turn love it at the same time.
Right.
What I tell people to do, just an easy way to go about this, it's not going to happen overnight, but you can start. Find something about yourself that you do love. It can be anything, whether it be writing, reading, your knowledge, wittiness, or it could be a physical part of your body. It could be something as simple as your hair, or your stomach, or your arms. It doesn't matter. Find something that you do love about yourself, because you're obviously not going to change the way you think about something you don't like easily.
Yeah.
So focus on that thing and only that thing as much as you can. At least once a day, try to sit down and bring up the feeling associated with that thing that you like. Eventually, feeling that love for that part or that thing of you will attract more to it. And eventually, you'll be able to start seeing more things about yourself that you like. Oh, I like reading, so therefore I'm really smart. I have a lot of knowledge. I have a lot to offer. Don't try to muddle it up with, I have a lot to offer people, but I don't know how to do that. Don't worry about all that.
Erase the butts.
More things will follow, but just focus on the thing you love. Don't worry about the things you don't, because eventually you really will be able to change that just by focusing on the thing you do like. And I know that sounds, again, so easy, but it really is small things like that that build on one another. That will start building self confidence without you even having to work on it.
Yeah, and the beauty of it all is that it is also easy to do. It's just a matter of learning.
Yeah,
Everything's a learning curve. Everything's hard until you figure out how to do it.
you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, that's it.
And a thing too with self confidence, an affirmation that I have everybody work with: I am where I am, and I am who I am, and I can't change that. But I'm okay where I'm at. I am where I am, but that's okay. Now I know what I know, and I can only get better from here. And people can reword that however it needs to be, but I am where I am. It doesn't matter where you are. It's just comforting releasing that, and that's okay. That
Yeah.
is okay. I'm fine. I am where I am, and that's okay. That releases a lot of tension and worrying and stress that don't serve you. And that alone can give you some relief from the stress
Oh
that you
yeah.
put in your body.
A
Write them
lot.
everywhere and stick them everywhere.
Yes, dude, I tell people that all the time. I'm all about some affirmations, and I want you to paint them on your wall, stick them on your fridge, tape them on your cat. Whatever you got to do to somewhere you're going to see them all the time. Of course, tape is probably bad for your cat. Don't actually do that. Um, Paint might not be so bad. I don't know if it's non-toxic. They do clean themselves. But yeah. Uh, a lot of people's issues come from comparing themselves to others. Also, don't you think?
Nobody is where anybody else is. Everybody's in a different place.
Completely.
Most of it is unrealistic.
Yep.
In the aspect of people don't actually look like they do on TV. They do so much editing, and people get paid a lot of money for the editing
Yeah.
because it makes people buy what they're selling because they look so good. But if you read stories on it, they'll tell you, I didn't actually do that, or it was photoshopped. You have to stop comparing. And, that's why a lot of people don't reach their potential because they think, oh, they look better, they sound better. They've probably recorded it 100 times.
Yeah.
So obviously, yeah, it's been rehearsed, it's been worked on. You can do the same, and I'm not saying go Photoshop your body or, but if rehearse in front of the mirror, if it's you want to be as good as somebody, work yourself up to that. If you need self-confidence building exercises, there are so many out there. I work with people on self-confidence alone. There are so many things out there to work on yourself, one step at a time, and don't beat yourself up for where you are. That's the worst thing you can do. It takes you right back to the beginning because then you have to start all over because you're beating yourself up. So, it's all a matter of stop comparing yourself, and I know that's hard to do. We all do it. I still look at other people who've been doing this job for 30 years, and I wish I could be there, but you know, you got to start somewhere. And that's what got me on my path is I had to start somewhere. I got tired of wishing I was somewhere else or someone else and
Hmm.
decided to do it and found out my true passion in life and now we're living it.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's just as easy as that, just deciding you are where you are and you have to start somewhere.
Yeah. Um. So, also a lot of things that we see, even in real life, taking the media out of it. Uh, People that you know in real life who seem like they got it all figured out or perfect or whatever. You're not seeing their behind the scenes. You're only seeing what they choose to allow you to see. Uh, One of the secrets of life that I tell my clients is that nobody has anything 100% figured out. Nobody. Everybody is confused or lost, at least in some aspect of their life. Nobody has everything 100% figured out.
But then what would be the point if you did? What fun would that be if you had everything figured out?
Yep.
Where would you go from there? There's nothing left to do at that point. Nobody in the history of ever has ever had it figured out, or we would not be
Yep.
here today.
Yep.
So, it's being human. We're here to have fun, to figure out us. That's the missing piece that, everybody's like, there feels like there's something missing. I have something missing and I don't know what it is. It's you. It's your connection with you. It's discovering who you are and that you are connected to you, your inner being, your spirit, your soul. People are terrified of that. Why are you so scared of your soul? It's obviously come from somewhere. There's a connection. You can hear, you know, not to go in a green light for some reason. You choose not to take your car through a green light for 2 seconds longer, and there's a crash in front of you. That's your inner being saying, "Hey, guidance." You don't even have to know it's coming from somewhere. It's just there. It's going to happen. You don't have to do anything about it. So, lighten up. Know that the missing piece is your connection with you,
Mm-hmm.
and
To
discover it.
appreciate themselves.
Yeah.
All right. Um, Limiting beliefs and stuff. You know, we were talking the other day about how everybody in our industry is so much older than us, mostly. Um, with you, with all the things that you do, and then I hate grouping them up together like that, but it's so much to list off with your hypnotherapy and your Reiki and your life coaching. Uh, and then me with my coaching, most people that are doing what we do are in their 40s or older, and we have limiting beliefs that our age hinders us because we're so much younger that, or I do anyway, that we don't have the experience that we wish we had or that we need to, per se, help people how we want to help them, which isn't true. Um, you know, Even though it's a limiting belief, it's a work in progress to fix ourselves from it. Is that even the, you know?
Well, and people think your age means experience, and yes, by some means it does. However, I've worked with more clients than some people who've been doing this 5 or 10 years. The reason is I just spend more time on it. So when you pick somebody in this industry, age is not necessarily fair, because just because they're older doesn't mean they have more knowledge.
Yep.
The internet has made so much more available today, going to school so much easier. People who are younger can find their passion earlier. I
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of contrast in my early life growing up in the Bible Belt. I knew a lot of what I didn't want,
Yeah.
and it just took a few things here and there that said, "Hey, this is for you. This is what you want to do." And I listened to that guidance and I followed it, and here I am today. And I love what I do. I love working with people, discovering themselves and things that they didn't know they could fix or change, and giving them a new life. I'm not in the business to cure people. I'm in there to help them, but a lot of times, even one session, they don't have to come back because, they choose to, just because, they want to tweak some things. But, sometimes it's as simple as just one session can change the world for somebody.
Yeah.
I work with more pain management clients than anything, and I'm still shocked today at how, you know, hypnosis has blown me away. I still sometimes have a hard time seeing the results because I'm like, I never expect some things to happen that do. Not that I'm not in control of what I do, but it's the results that people get. And, you know, being in the holistic health like we are, yeah, limiting beliefs are everything, because at first it did scare me because I thought people, when they see me, they're kind of taken by surprise at my age, and they'll ask, and that automatically turns them off because
Yep.
they think I can't know more than someone who's older. Doctors who go to school for 12 years. I've been in school my entire life, 25 years old, and I've only taken a couple of years off. So I've basically been in school almost as long as some doctors, but I just figured out what I wanted to do early.
Yeah.
So, it's really all about people being able to put their beliefs aside and understanding that there are people who can help them who are younger. It's great for people who've been doing it 30 years, But again, fresh minds can mean the difference for somebody too. We have a fresh perspective, fresh outlook. We're not tired of what we do. Some people who have been doing it so long just get tired of it.
Mhm.
Being in a career, and it can be time for a change. But yeah, definitely limiting beliefs, that was very hard for me to begin with. I thought because I was so young that I wouldn't be able to do anything. People wouldn't take me seriously. And I know
Yep.
you felt the same way. But the more people work with us, the more they understand that that's not usually the case.
Oh yeah. Um, the I've met some people who are, two or three times my age that I'm probably more mature than they'll ever be. It's just each individual is completely different from the next. You can't go by things like that. You have to get to know each person and formulate your opinion on that individual person. Um, Moral of the story here being that the only true limitations you actually have in your pursuit of whatever you want to achieve are only the limitations that you place on yourself.
Yeah, and people set goals so high that they limit themselves also, because it's not that you can't reach for the stars, but you can't do it by jumping. You have to take steps. There are tools to get you there. You have to take one logical step at a time.
Yeah,
You have to be able to make your way up there. Build a strong foundation before you build your house. When you look at it as a whole picture, it's a lot more difficult to see it done because it's not even there yet. So, being able to take a step at a time and figure it out as you go, instead of looking and saying, hey, I'm not there yet, and getting upset about it.
yeah,
You can't do that. You've got to be able to just look at where you're at right now and enjoy what you're doing and reaching for the next step instead of reaching for the entire goal. Because that's what sets a lot of people off and makes it very difficult for most people to reach what they want, because nobody has showed them how to goal set. They haven't learned how to really get what they want. Emotions are a lot of that too. Mindset, being able to look at things and understand how they work. You can't jump from one end to another. You can't get there from there. You have to be able to see. You can look at the whole picture, but you need to be able to see the steps in between. You have to be able to just focus on what you're doing in the now. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about the day after that. Don't worry about what you're going to do with it later. That is where so many people stress, and again, stress,
yep.
getting where they need to go. Don't worry about where you need to go because tomorrow is not promised. Work on today, work on the now, focus on that. That will eliminate so much stress for so many people.
Yeah. People they put too much pressure on themselves. They want to have everything figured out before they start to do something. Whereas, a lot of people think I'm crazy because I'm always talking about how I'm going to change the world. And, that seems like such a grand gesture or whatever from somebody. I mean, like my dad in particularly thinks I'm absolutely crazy. He's like, how can you change the world? That is the most ridiculously large statement I've ever heard in my life. And but you can't think of, going straight from where you are now to changing the world. Like you can't think of it just jumping to that like that. You have to take one step at a time, and things, it's the snowball effect. A bunch of little things added together grow to be one big thing. um I mean, for example, look at Oprah. you know people always think that you need to have money, or you need to be born into a situation where you can pursue these things, or you have to know people. And they think that average folks can't do this. But Oprah started out, um, she didn't have anything. She totally built every her empire from absolutely nothing. And she shows us that if she can do it, anybody else can. It's just a matter of mindset.
But she wasn't focused on what she thought where she was going. She didn't know what she would have.
Yeah.
And by trusting that her guidance would get her to a greater place than she could ever imagine, there really is so much more if you don't try to plan everything out. Now, I'm
Mhm.
not saying plans are bad. Again, not so literally, but She just
I
took it one
couldn't,
step at a
yeah.
time. She followed each lead. If you follow the leads, but again, that's trusting yourself. If it
Yeah.
doesn't feel right, don't do it. Wait
Mhm.
for something that feels right, or get into alignment with what it is you're trying to do first before you take action. Being able to trust it, you'll know when you know. You just know.
Yeah.
Everybody's had that feeling at least once in their life. When something just feels right and you go for it, that's trust. And you're usually not thinking about it. That's the thing. That's not saying don't sit down and try to beat it up until you get something, because that's not when it's going to come through. It's usually when you're not thinking about it. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Do something you like doing. If it's 10 minutes a day, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you can find 10 minutes to do something you enjoy. It doesn't matter what. 10 minutes. And don't sit down and try to think maybe something will come through today. Just just have fun at doing something for a few minutes a day. Usually something will come through when you're not thinking about it, when you're least worried about it. That's when your guidance comes through, because you're not strung up on stress and worry. So, again, it's the next logical step. Oprah didn't start knowing where she was going to go. She just trusted that it would get her somewhere great, and it did. It took her beyond her imagination could have ever come up with. And that's the whole point, trusting your guidance. It knows the bigger picture, and it can see all the opportunities for you. It sees what's out there, and it's bringing them to you. You just have to trust that. And I know that's so difficult because, again, you can't see it, but you just have to trust
Hmm. Yeah.
and
And
get
it's
out of
about,
your own way.
do it.
And get out of your own way.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because you're the only thing really standing in your way at
Yeah.
all. Um, it's all about, finding your own unique abilities and utilizing them, and interests, your abilities and your interests, and utilizing them to grow yourself.
Well, people who don't like, say you have 10 things, 10 different areas in your life, 9 of them could be going wrong and one of them going right. Focus on the thing that's going right. Don't focus on the things that's going wrong. Now, I'm not saying ignore your responsibilities. However, just try to focus on the thing that's going right as much as you can. More things will start going right. And eventually, those 9 things won't be 9 things anymore. But again, words don't teach, actions do. People have to be able to do it. And, again, that's where we work with people, teaching them how, steps, tools to do that with. And it's each person is different. What works for one won't work for another.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about people. Everybody's different, and there's something out there for everybody. It's just a matter of finding it. There's so many different modalities that are available, and it's not mainstream Western medicine. So I understand it's very very far fetched for a lot of people,
Hmm.
but it's just a matter of giving it a try. Things are so great. I work with people online who aren't local. Being able to do it through Skype or Google works just the same as doing it. When you're Reiki 2, you can do distance healing. Energy is not bound by time or anything. There is no, rules or limitations on it, because we're all made of energy. That's proven. It's science. We can manipulate the things around us to work, and that's what I mean by, things are not bound by you having to be physically here. People are able to find coaches wherever they go. It doesn't have to be around you, because I know that I'm in a place, well, we're in an area that there are very limiting beliefs, being in the South. So a lot of our clients tend to come from other areas who are more open and understanding of what they need
Yeah.
or where to get it. Yeah, so definitely it's all about mindset and beliefs. Understanding that things don't always have to, if you never change something, how is change supposed to happen if you never change the way you do things or the way you
Yeah.
look at things? Change can't happen. You have to be able to morph with life, to change with it. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah. And it's all that's all law of attraction stuff too. I know that's um gaining a lot more ground than, law of attraction used to be like a very woo woo thing for people, but it's getting more and more popular. More and more people are starting to learn about it and everything. And it's just like attracts like. Focusing on that one good thing is going to bring more good things, whereas focusing on the bad thing is going to bring more bad things. And it's all energy and law of attraction.
And again, one great teacher, look at Esther. She's taken a
Yeah.
subject that has never been talked about. That was, Albert Einstein, he knew law of attraction, he knew energy. People didn't believe him. He thought he was crazy. He was a man before his time. And look at Esther. She's taken something that was not mainstream and made it normal. And now it's so much easier for so many people to follow because there's so many followers that it's not weird anymore. It's not abnormal. The same thing. You can take something that's not talked about and make it great. It's all a matter of trusting in your ability to do it, to understand. And so, yeah, it's all about mindset. If you think you can't do it because someone else hasn't done it, then you're not going to get anywhere. But just because someone else hasn't doesn't mean you can't be the next innovator, in your area or in your thing or in whatever you want to do, or create something new that's never been done before. That's so much more fun than anything else.
It is.
Being you, getting to learn yourself and explore yourself and all the things that you can do.
Yeah, I get super excited when I find things that nobody else has thought of.
Yeah, definitely. And it's really is fun, and you don't have to tell anybody. That's what people are afraid of. You can share it with your closest friend or your partner, but again, be careful because not everybody believes the same way. That's the great thing.
Mm-hmm.
You tell somebody something that you're not sure of, you're probably going to get uncertainty back. Again,
Yeah,
law of attraction. You're going to get that same response. You need to be able to build up your trust in what you're doing so that other people can't knock you out of your trust of it. They're not able to take you, you don't waver in where you stand with what you're doing. And at that point, you have so much power behind you that the universe will bring everything that you need to continue that. You just have to be able to do it. And some people start off as a hobby that way. They build their trust in it, they have fun doing it, and it just turns into a career. They didn't even have to work at it. It's just because you continue to do it, you bring more like it. And
yeah,
it makes for a happy life. There are little changes you can do for people who are out there working 40 to 80 hours a week, who hate their job and think there's nothing else out there for them. That's absolutely not true. Even if you spend 10 minutes to 15 minutes a day doing one thing you like, and I know people say they don't have time or the energy, find it. There is 10 minutes in your day to do something you like. Eventually, something else will come like it. And that 40 hours a week, it might be another job opportunity that gives you some extra free hours or gives you a little bit more freedom for expression. Doesn't matter how it comes to you, but you'll know. You'll know when it's the next logical step.
awesome. So I love talking to you. I talk to you every day for a reason. Chelsea is my own coach, and I love every minute of it. Wouldn't trade her for nothing. I could have the same conversation with her 5 times in a row, and I would learn something new every time we did it.
We all have our own coaches. I have my coaches that I converse with on a daily basis who help me grow too.
Yeah,
So, it trickles down. You have to find a coach. Find somebody who you can talk to. It doesn't matter. Just you have to have somebody that helps you grow, that has a new perspective on things. And that's what makes us great teachers are great, at what we do because we have our counsel just like everybody else.
yeah. Um, so I'm so glad that you were here to talk with us about this today. Thank you so much for being patient. We had a ton of technical problems before we got this going, but I'm glad we figured it out, and now we don't have to worry about it anymore. Maybe we got all the wrinkles worked out for future calls. So where can people find you?
They can find me on my website, cphypnosisworks.com. You could probably just look up Chelsea Perry, and you can find it. I have my phone number and an email on there. You can call me, 256-652-2845. You don't have, you can just call me if you have questions. Where do you want to go next? What do you need? You don't know what to do or what you need. Call. That's what I'm here for. Working with clients, even after sessions, they'll call me just to talk. That's perfectly fine. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. And then if I'm the person for you, then more than happy to work with you. And the same for Savannah. Very open, easy conversationists, so just call us. We'll be happy to talk to you. There's so much more to this stuff than meets the eye, and this is not all. You can't have this conversation in an hour. There's so much to it. There's so much out there. Google has so many opportunities to learn for people who are wondering what this stuff is, or hearing it for the first time, or know a little bit about it but aren't sure. Just look it up. Research it. See if it's the thing for you. There's so many tools out there. All coaches have so many different methods for so many different areas. It's just a matter of talking to them and finding out whether or not it's for you, or if it's the right method for you. So definitely my website has all of that listed. I know Savannah's does too. So
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for being with us. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to hit her or me up. We'll answer them all. And I'm going to see if I can put some links to her website and my own somewhere around the video or whatever. And then I'll be posting it on my site for other folks to get to also. But I had a good time, and I'll talk to you later.
thank you so much, Savannah. I loved being here.
Okay.